Hello, and welcome to your first midweek check-in. My name is Professor Heaton, as I'm sure you are familiar with now. I'm in my kid's playroom, by the way. I don't have like a Game Boy and Mario and Luigi and just normal rooms of my house. Do you like my beard, my quarantine beard? Is it luscious and beautiful? So here is my goal for this first midweek check-in that I usually like to do on Thursdays. I just want to give a brief overview of your project. I have to sneeze. I'm going to pause. Be right back. The sneeze is gone. I'm going to give you an example of a really good post and comment. I won't read the whole thing, but we'll talk about good things that were done in it. And that's pretty much it. And just see how everyone's doing. Let's get rid of this beard so we can talk about what's going on in class. So the first thing we want to do to talk about your project, I want you to click on Lessons in the Blackboard page, and you'll see this down here, Novel Project. And this is not due till the very last day of class. So if you're doing the June course, it's July 2nd. If you're in the July course, I want to say it's August. I better not say a date. It's early August. Okay, so I'm going to show you the directions in rubric right there. So I'm going to click on this. So British Literature Project. Let's bump this up a little bit. Oh, there we go. There we go. Page width. All right. So all written portions of the project must be submitted through Blackboard before the due date. So here's what you can do, and you'll find all of these in the corresponding folders with their corresponding literary eras. So if you want to read a novel over the Romantic era, you can read Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. For the Victorian era, you can read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. For the modern era, you could read The Man Who Was Thursday by G.K. Chesterton. And for those of you not familiar with G.K. Chesterton, he was a Catholic writer. He wrote all sorts of things from novels, short stories, plays, philosophy, theology. C.S. Lewis regarded him as one of his kind of chief influences. He's a really cool guy. And then lastly, the postmodern novel that you can read is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Have you heard of it before? It's a pretty little known novel, but it's pretty good. So what you have to do for your final project is you have to choose one of these. So I would just hop on Amazon and read through the synopsis to figure out which one sounds the most interesting to you and start reading it right now. So if you go into the different folders, you'll notice that there are files for you to read these. As a PDF to where you could read it on your phone if you want, or on a computer, or an EPUB or ebook option. So that's really great because it flows really well with particular apps. I like to use Books. I have an Apple. So if you have an iPhone, that same app works really well. It's super clean. It adjusts the fonts and things like that. If you're using a PC computer and want to read off of your computer, you can download the Nook app or just Google an EPUB reader. But what I would encourage you to do is just to put that on your phone and start reading it now. Start reading it now. So there's all sorts of different things that you can do. So in the same way that you're only choosing one book, you only have to choose one option. Okay? So one of the options is you can write an essay. Yay! I know some of you are essay writers. I'm the essay writer. I love writing papers. So it must be 1,500 words in MLA format. You've got to use evidence from the text, so whatever the novel is that you chose. And you have to include a works cited page with 3 credible outside sources that are quoted throughout the essay. You got to answer the following questions in a well-organized, carefully researched essay. How does your chosen novel reflect the core beliefs and ideas of its literary time period? How does it respond to the significant historical and cultural elements of the day? And finally, what is your critical response to the novel and its arguments? This assignment will require you to research the literary era of the novel, the biography of the author, the cultural relevance of the work, and to evaluate your own opinion of the book. Make sure to provide text evidence from the novel and your credible outside sources to support your argument. Okay? So pretty simple. It's almost like you're taking those templates that we're doing for the assignments, you're applying it to the novel and expanding it into a full essay, which is no big deal. Now, that's one option. Now, if you are the type of person that would rather I can't think of it. I can't think of a funny example. If you don't like writing essays, you could do an artistic expression. Okay, look at me and my luscious chocolate eyes. Look how beautiful they are. If you are not an artistic person, don't do this. I've given so many lackluster grades because I have a student that like bought some Crayola crayons on a notebook paper and turned it into, that's not going to cut it, right? So here's what you can do. Create a work of visual art that explores the themes of your chosen novel. Your primary goal is to capture and articulate the work's arguments and cultural ideas as a product of its particular literary era. So once you create this work of art, you have to attach an MLA formatted 500-word interpretation and analysis of your piece. So what's going on in the piece? Why did you do what you did? What themes are you focusing on? In that 500-word interpretation, which is very short, you have to include evidence from the text and a quote from one outside source that will illuminate your analysis. I don't care what you do here, whether it's a pencil drawing or something, just any type of visual art. I just need to see that you understand the text. So this should be demonstrated through use of color, medium, symbols, tone, and a sophisticated written interpretation, and that you've put a substantial amount of work and effort into the project. So if I look at it and assess that it only took you about 10 minutes, when everyone else is spending hours and hours and hours writing a research essay, then you're not going to get a very good grade. Okay? So to submit that, obviously this class is online, so you'll take a picture of it and you'll submit it via Blackboard all together in one file. So that's another method that you could do. Another thing you could do is to create a graphic novel that explores the themes of your chosen novel. So your goal here is to capture and articulate the work's arguments and cultural ideas as a product of its particular literary era. You must have illustrated full color cover and at least 18 panels that span 8.5 to 11 pieces, or must have three 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. And the same thing, I've got to see that you understand the text, and since there's no written portion here, it should be evident from your work that you understand the literary era in your chosen scene or scenes that demonstrates the qualities and attributes of the era. Okay, so put work into it. You got to scan those pictures or take pictures of them and submit them to Blackboard as well. And this is one that most people like to do, is the cultural understanding. You've got to create an Instagram account for a particular character in your book. Through 10 posts with detailed, well thought out captions and hashtags, you've got to capture the essence of the character and reflect the cultural significance of the novel within that particular literary era. You've got to imagine your character as a product of the modern world. So what are they into? What do they like? And then also think, why do they like that thing? There has to be some sort of connection between what you're posting and what they would actually like and why. You have to have a 500-word MLA composition that explains each post, so 500 words in all, not for each post, so they'll be really short. And each post should directly correlate with an attribute of a character and or reflection of the literary time period. Okay? Also you have to have a quote from the text for each image as well. So do not just fabricate a post that has Ebenezer Scrooge watching The Office with no explanation as to why. You got to let me know why he's watching The Office. So you've got to submit your Instagram handle to me as well as the written portion all through Blackboard. Okay? And this is a rubric that you can peruse at your own leisure that will let you know how I will be grading the project. But I don't want to overwhelm you with talking all about that. So that's what's happening. You have until the end of class to submit this, but I would encourage you to start working on it now. Start reading the novel now. That way, when the end of the month rolls around, you're not feeling super overwhelmed with everything that you have to do. Okay? All right. So now, you know that for week 1, you'll have watched all these background videos, read these poems, watched the film Pride and Prejudice. You've read a little bit of the backgrounds of the romantics. And now you should be working on your discussion board posts. So that's what you should be working on now. So you have all of today, you have Friday, you have Saturday, and all day Sunday to get this and your 2 comments completed. So please make sure that that's finished before 11:59 p.m. I just want to highlight one really good post. I thought this was particularly good. It's really long and chunky, which is great. It's just demonstrating the student is really on point here. So, but just listen to the prose of this and listen to how well they crafted this. The film Pride and Prejudice, directed by Joe Wright, I like the little research they did there, illustrates key ideas from the Romantic era such as rebellion and appearances through its strong-headed protagonist, Elizabeth Bennet. You can see that they have a very clear topic sentence there that outlines an argument. In the time period the film is set, Elizabeth Bennet is unlike any other woman. Elizabeth doesn't see marriage as the key to happiness, nor does she see it as a business transaction for estates. As Elizabeth says herself, only the deepest love will persuade me into matrimony, which is why I will end up an old maid, which I thought was really good, including a quote from the text. And she's really highlighting the importance of that quote and relating it to the Romantic era. But we see lots of really well-crafted quotes and analysis of the film as well. And I like this here too. The narrator provides a descriptive image of a magnificent woman as it compares her beauty to that of nature, which is really important for the Romantic era. Though seemingly head over heels for the woman and would jump at the opportunity of seducing her, the woman would most likely decline, as the narrator describes her with a, quote, heart whose love is innocent. The constant mentions of the woman's purity and innocence is not only what makes her unavailable, but is also part of why she is so desirable. It's just great analysis. Did a great job here. So I will post this in this announcement. Please read through it. You can see the type of response that I'm looking for. It's very well articulated. It's full of quotes from the text, which is what you should be doing. It's got a very clear topic sentence. It uses evidence from the text to prove the argument that's made in the topic sentence, and also unpacks a really great analysis that explains why all this stuff is important within the context of the Romantic era. And then I wanted to show you a comment. I'm almost running out of time for this video. I promise I'll go fast. That I thought was really good, but also ways that we can spice it up a little bit. So I agree when you said that the Romantic era has a strong sense of rebellion against society. I feel that this era in literature sparked a change in people's mindsets about politics, media, and themselves. And that phrase right there, you can make that spicier by actually telling me what those mindsets, politics, what those things actually are. If you can be specific there, that's going to give your post a little bit more substance, or your comment more substance. And also, there's another one. It changed people's perspectives of topics that otherwise wouldn't be questioned. Like what? Be specific there. How so? It might require you to do a little bit more outside research or pull in a source that we've read, but that's fine. We of course see this in today's society with political movements that are led by people that are beating to their own drum. Great. Like what? Tell me. How? Be specific. So the specificity is what I'm looking for, not only in your original posts, but also in your comments and in your essay and written portions that are upcoming. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right, so all that to say, make sure that you get everything finished by 11:59 p.m. for week 1. Go and get started reading your novel. And for all of you, I know that this is just the craziest period of my life in terms of what's happening in the world with the news and everything that's transpiring. So please know that I know that this is a very difficult time, and I know that everything is incredibly sensitive right now. But I'm here for you. I want you to succeed. So I want to encourage you all just to show love and respect to everyone that you can. Use your voice where you can. Understanding that our country is going through a pretty huge reckoning right now with one of our original sins and what that means for equity for people throughout the entire nation. So stay safe, wash your hands, show love, show justice when you can, and I will check in with you all again on Monday. So please feel free to contact me via email to show up on Google Hangouts Monday through Friday. I won't be on Google Hangouts on Saturday or Sunday. It was nice getting to meet some of you this week. But know that you can still reach me by email. I'll check that periodically throughout the weekend. Okay? Y'all are awesome humans, and I hope you have a great, safe weekend.